two men with an unenviable task of holding their nerve when it's all on the line. From Team USA, we have a one-pocket champion and a man making his debut in the 2020 Mosconi Cup. It is Billy the Torpedo Thorpe and Chris Robertson.
Time for match 3 of a possible 4, and if we had commentator Cam, you'd have the choice of looking at either Alison Fisher or Phil Yates. I know I'd be choosing.
Me? Thanks, Andy. Yeah. Chris Robinson and Billy Thorpe are two very positive individuals, but being positive in this situation will try even them. Would you believe Europe have won 7 consecutive matches? Will it be 8 in a row? And if it is, well, that would herald the equal largest margin of victory for Europe over USA in Mosconi Cup history.
Team USA.
That lag was mighty tight. It went to the USA.
Well, they had to win something right now. And as we've seen earlier, the lags have been really important in these matches with the 5-4 matches, and Europe winning most of them yesterday. I think it was 4-1 in lags. So that's played a major role in this.
Putting my cards on the table, Alison, I'm not surprised that Europe are doing really well. I thought the team, you looked at them and you thought there's strength everywhere. But I'm very surprised with the actual wide margin of this scoreline.
Right, number 1.
Yeah, definitely. It's not. You know, I talked to Chris Robinson. I saw him at breakfast today, and he just, you've got to take every ball as it comes in this. And he realised the gravity of missing that. He overran the 7 ball on the first day, and he said, I could have won that point, and just every ball counts in this. And you can't look back and think that, but he knows it. And I said, well, it's a great experience being here, and you're going to learn from that.
And little things make a massive difference. The 2 ball there, well, it could have been cut in, but then of course the 7 comes down and leaves really awkward queuing.
Yeah, they definitely haven't had the best of run tonight, but they've had opportunities as well, and just the morale is a little bit down in the count, and that's understandable. But you've still got to, just go out fresh every ball. Oh, we'll take a little triple there. Bankety bank.
That was a basketball shot, given that 2 of them are out there. A triple-double.
Well, they need a bit of run, I have to say. Let's take another look at that. There we go. We didn't think of that one. That was a bit of a trick shot there. Oh, it's a nice shot. Nicely played. See how the cue ball bent forward there with all that top spin? You've got to be careful of those on a new cloth, that type of shot. So the question is, do you drift it in or do you play up to the end rail? But he managed to control it. It's left Billy with a nice opportunity to come around 2 rails and give Chris a nice angle on the 7 ball to get back for the 8. That's perfectly played. And now we're going to see Chris with a little bit of low right English come 2 rails across for the 8 in that top left corner. And I don't see Billy missing this, but nevertheless, I think Chris would have liked to come a little bit further up, but he's got a nice angle for Billy to just play this. He can either go 2 rails or 1 rail, drift down for the 9 ball. It's a natural 1 rail here. Nice shot.
They're trying at the very least to restore some respectability to the scoreline, and this is just the start they would have wanted. Chris Robinson and Billy Thorpe are the least experienced members of this Team USA. Youthful exuberance right now. Well, it's valuable in this situation.
Sorry, we're a little stressed. We're a little stressed right now, if y'all don't understand that.
And it was all about this, the triple. But as Alison said, we can't begrudge them luck. They've not received a great amount.
No, definitely not. And especially with the scoreline as it is. I would like a few more points on the board for the USA.
I get the impression now that in their minds this is a lost cause.
It looks better
but
going 2 anyway.
they've got a lot of
It's brand new.
You know, yeah.
Pride
Sometimes you
of
just gotta take it out,
performance.
act like you're going 1, but then go 2.
Yeah, no, I think Chris is out here firing. He's enjoying
next
the experience, as he should be. And
No,
I think he's going to just bear down here. He's not going to take anything for granted. And I feel like he's going to play well in this match, and that'll inspire Billy. And I think they've got a really nice pair here. But having said that, you do have a formidable pair. Albin has played superbly in his doubles matches. And he has the current world champion as his partner.
Well, it looked for quite a while like being a really good break. The 1 in, the 2 available, but then the 6 came into the party. There's also a lot of pride of performance for Albin Ouschan because he's got such a wonderful doubles record in the Mosconi Cup and he wants to keep improving it all the time.
Yeah, you can see he's always highly focused. It doesn't matter if he's playing for himself or his partner. He's trying to be spot on with that cue ball.
Extension.
Extension, please.
As we saw in that shot there, that was a very nice safety shot he
Come off
played.
here.
Not easy to catch that edge of that too. The way they're pointing at the rail there.
I'll try like a hell, son. I'll try like hell.
And off we go for another jump shot. See what Billy's got in his repertoire here. This is pretty close to the 8 ball. He wanted the cue ball to come further down the table, so he's left Fedor a shot on the 2, but it's we see how we look at that again, and he's separated the 2 balls pretty well, but Fedor does have a shot. Question is he going to roll it in? It's always a test of your cueing, this type of shot. Is he going to roll it, or is he going to punch it around and bump the 8 ball? And he's rolling it in. Really nice speed control on that shot.
Yes, and also hitting it into the thick part of the pocket enabled the cue ball to be held easier than had he hit it into the thin part of the pocket and almost overcut it.
Absolutely. You can certainly lose the cue ball on those shots if you're not careful. Nice little stun shot over now to the other rail. And it's looking good for the European team. Oops, he didn't want to leave him bridging over the 9 ball. I thought he would have put a little bit more pace into that shot. So it's a little tester for Albin now.
Yeah, he caught the pot just slightly too thick. That's what's caused this potential problem, at least. Problem solved.
You know what I love about Albin though? Do you see the pace he puts on every shot? His pocket speed, he's given himself the maximum chance to make the shot just by the speed that he's playing them at. He's got such a soft touch for this fast table. Well, he's really testing Albin here, Fedor, isn't he? He's tested his cueing.
Well, we know how fast this table is. At one point there, though, I was doubting whether the cue ball was going to travel far enough. It has just.
So he walked around just to see if he plays the cut, if he avoids the 9 ball, or if he bumps into it. Oops, do you see how that got away from him there? He got a bit too much topspin, and he must have had a touch of left-hand spin on that for it to go as far forward as it went. Just a little bit too much. He caught the 7 thick, and consequently cue ball goes in the corner, and a relief to Chris and Billy as they get ball in hand on the 8 ball.
Seconds. 10 seconds, hurry up.
He needs to get on with this. They've taken their extension already.
Nice shot. He's got a really nice technique, Chris has.
Now, is that the small boost that could lead to bigger things? It really did look as though Europe were going to equalise. As it is, the USA are 2-0 ahead. Very uncharacteristic mistake from Albin Ouschan.
Yeah, it's amazing when you hit the ball just a little too much above centre, how that cue ball bends forward on this equipment.
Hey, they need a biscuit, we need a basket, boys. They need a biscuit, we need a basket. It's cool.
You can see Billy's lightening the mood there.
They need a biscuit, we need a basket, baby. That's how it rolls sometimes. By Gotti.
He's keeping Chris nice and relaxed, but
Sometimes
I don't think Chris needs to be relaxed. He is relaxed as a person. He's got a great temperament.
You know how many times I've been in a spot where they need a biscuit and I need a basket and I still won? 20.
Desperately trying to stay positive.
A biscuit and a basket.
One time, see how they like it.
It must mean that a basket is a lot, and a biscuit's just one.
It could be code language, we don't know, we're not sure. Look in the background, we've got Chris Mellin, former Mosconi Cup player, and fan pictures rolling in.
Well, he's in the conversation tonight, you know, Chris Mellin, because he's the last Brit to win the MVP. That was in 2012. And if Europe were to win the Cup this evening, Jason Shaw would also be the Predator Q's MVP, the next one in line after Chris.
And deservedly so. That was a really nice break by Chris. Oh, he just got a little too close to the 2 there.
The cue ball was also uncomfortably close to the middle pocket.
Yeah, 60 seconds. So.
I'll get you a few. That's fine.
He's going for the two rails drifting down the table. The way he's pointing at it, it's for a thin cut for Chris into the corner, or a good safety lock up behind the 9. So it's just a high ball, touch of left English maybe. Oh, he went for the breakup. That was a beautiful shot, so well executed.
Wasn't it just?
A really nice shot, hit it perfectly. They're turning out to be a nice little partnership here.
Well, of course, Thorpe has captured big one-pocket titles. And in order to play that game, you have to think so well and be so creative.
Yeah, it's a really nice shot because of the conditions of the table. You know, they're playing so much better with these conditions now. On day one, it was all over the place, wasn't it, Phil?
Well, they lost 5-0 last night, the USA, in the session. The first whitewash in the Mosconi Cup for 7 years. But in many respects, they made fewer mistakes last night than they did in the first session when they only lost 3-2.
Yeah, that's my point, really. They played well, but Europe just outclassed them last night. Of course, with a little bit of run of the ball, but that generally happens when you're playing well. Oh, he tightened up a little bit there. Didn't let out the stroke as much as he wanted to give Chris a better shot. He just needed to be another 6 to 12 inches over, really, there. Watch that shirt, Phil. Nice shot from Chris. Very nice shot.
Ohio and California gelling together really well. Maybe there's going to be a late twist here. Thorpe and Robinson lead 3-0.
We did that with 7 every time. Let's go, kid. That was a hell of a shot on the 8. I got a little weak on the 7. I didn't want it over like I should have just let my stroke out, even if I do get you down here.
Bro, if I can make a bridge, we're good.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear, baby. Come on, let's 5-0 in one time, baby. I need old John to slug him one time.
Gorst.
In Q Sports the world over, it's often said the last rack, the last frame, the last match can sometimes be the toughest to win. Well, the USA are making life tough for a European pairing that have done so well in this Mosconi Cup of 2020. Before this, Albin Ouschan, 3 wins, 1 defeat. Fedor Gorst, 2-0. Right now their back is firmly against the wall. But of course, in the very first match of the Cup this year, the team, Europe led 3-0, lost 5-3. Things can turn around in these short races, Alison.
Absolutely. Anything can happen. Race to 5. We saw momentum flows back and forth. Really, just a little bit of luck on the break. You know, in a lot of the matches.
Whatever you're up to.
I love the way the discussions go on between players, and then at the end of it they say, yeah, whatever you want. But I think in doubles, the less discussion, the better. You've just got to trust your partner and trust what they have to trust what they see.
Attention, please.
I mean, most of them are champions here, so it's not like they haven't played these shots a million times. So depending on how they're feeling, is he going to play it tight here and just snooker him behind the 4, or is he going to go for a bank and go for the run out? Looks like the bank. There we go, that's a great shot. There was no doubt in his mind what he was going to do there. Did he land on the 6 ball, Phil?
He did. You saw the gesticulation with the hand there as he saw the cue ball coming across table. He realised there was a little too much juice in it.
Oh, wow. The pool gods are maybe turning now in favour of the USA. That was a great shot by Fedor. Obviously trying to make it, but nevertheless it was still a tough hit, bridged over a ball.
Well, I think even the pool gods would want to see a renewal of the rivalry between Jason Shaw and Shane Van Boening, which, if this match is won by USA, we will see next.
I think we all want to see that. I definitely want to see that rematch.
Extension, please.
That was a great match they had last night, but it really did set the tone for the rest of the evening's play. Superb match. And I'm sure Shane would want revenge. And by the way, they are missing from the arena because they're up in the practice room prepping for that match. That was a great shot by Billy there. Look at the speed control.
Well, I was mentioning his one pocket prowess. He also won the Banks division at the Derby City Classic last year. So he knows his way around a pool table.
That's a beautiful shot. Look, he got a bit excited about that shot. A little glance over at the European team. Like, what do you think about that? Oh, wow. He negotiated that gap between the 6 and 7 ball so well then. And nearly made the 3 ball. Great shot. You know, if that had gone in, that could have been the shot of the tournament, that shot.
Isn't it ironic, you know, when he was picked to play, Chris Robinson, a lot of eyebrows were raised. Jeremy Jones, the American captain, was seriously second-guessed. He's been calm, he's been efficient. He's fitted right in.
I think he's been the calmest on the team that I've witnessed, and good luck to him. I mean, he's a willing student. He's taking it all in. He's listening to his teammates, and he's a really good team player as well as an individual. So Billy came with a really nice shot there to keep them in control of the table. Blind pocket down the rail.
I agree about Robinson. Technically, he's been really solid. And you never know how a player is going to react when they're in the Mosconi Cup cauldron for the first time. He's made of the right stuff, Chris Robinson.
Definitely. He'll definitely be back. You see, I just want to say something. It was technique. Chris, to me, has the best technique on the team. If you watch the tip of the cue as it comes through the ball, and Billy, in that particular spot there, he jabbed at the ball. He's got a short jabby action, and that's just nerves. He doesn't trust himself right now.
Well, that was terrible technique.
Yeah. Wow.
As was that. What happened there? Answers on a postcard.
Yes, I think the wheels have fallen off. Look at that. I cannot believe I've just witnessed that from Fedor. But you know what? It happens to everyone. It happened to Billy and it's happened to Fedor. Maybe a little bit of the mojo's coming out the team now.
You're right, though.
You got 12 seconds.
Thorpe missed because he jabbed. Gorst just misjudged.
Yes. Excellent shot. Gorst got away with that, didn't he?
Well, to get a snooker after that
Yeah.
gross error, it was the wages of sin.
Yeah, not fair. Sometimes this game makes you cry, I can tell you that. Not yet, but later on.
So, although there's no crying in baseball, there is crying in pool. Is that what you're saying?
There's crying everywhere, behind closed doors for sure. Although Joshua let it out last year. Now he has a great technique too, Albin. He's very smooth and he plays the pocket speed. So he very rarely misses a ball. I think Europe be happy.
Indeed, Alison, that was a very loose rack on all sides. It fell to Europe. Is that the start of what would be their decisive thrust?
Let's talk about having two world champions in the family. Oh, we're cutting actually to the training room. What we talked about was Jason prepping in anticipation of having to come out and play Shane in the next match. And Carl has a nice bandana, and that's apparently due to the fact that he's got a bad haircut right now. That's what he told me anyway.
Well, Shaw has made the cut in this tournament, there's no doubt about that. Van Boning, he will be individually motivated to get one back against someone who's now a bitter rival.
Yes, absolutely. They've really created a big rivalry here, and it showed at the table yesterday the amount of focus and tension that was out there when they competed against each other head to head. It was incredible.
Bracket number 5, the current score is 3-1 in favor of Team USA. Team USA to break.
Well, it just seemed like dead when the balls were hit then, didn't it? They just didn't seem to break apart as they have been doing.
Yes, it's double D, dead and dry.
That one ball was very, very close to going in the side pocket, but not close enough for USA to stay at the table. I don't think he played that, I would say. Look at that, he played him right behind the 9 ball, safety shot, and made the one in the side. So now Fedor has to deal with this, which shouldn't pose too many problems. The question is, does he go for it in the side pocket, kicking off one rail, or does he play safe on it, kicking the left side of the 2? Ball hit the rail, and the 8 ball just about hit the rail. Not quite as he played it, but nevertheless, he's left Chris with a tricky shot in either corner pocket.
Yes, you would fancy the pot, but getting shape on the 3, now that's
Yes.
a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, and he might choose not to go for it. Let's see.
I can't do that. Extension.
Everyone has a way they like to play certain shots too, and
Come out to the middle.
Billy's showing him where he'd like to be positioned, and I think basically it's give me a shot, make the ball, and give me a shot on the 3. He's trying to get the cue ball back to the middle of the table. He struck that beautifully.
Made it in the pocket. Oh. It didn't have it there either.
Safety. He could clip off the 3 and send it up behind the 8 ball. Or it looks like he's going to split the balls apart and play behind the 4. It's too wide, I think. Yeah, the speed control wasn't there. That spin took off the rail. You could tell as soon as he hit that it wasn't going to hold. He's not comfortable at all with the table, I don't think. So he's left Europe with a bank shot. The way the balls are spread, I think we'll see Albin go for this bank shot. There you go.
Big rack this, because if they can win it, Gorst and Ouschan, they'll be breaking next.
Yeah, it's not going to be good if you squander that 3-0 lead. The other team get motivated and more engaged, and the life is sucked out of the opponents. The pressure reverses.
Well, Gorst played one mystery shot in the previous rack. And although he's left awkward queuing there, it shouldn't really be too much of a headache.
I don't think so for Albin, the way he's playing. As I said, his speed control about pocketing the balls is really nice on this equipment. You can't have that punchy stroke. You need to be a bit smoother and play the pocket speed to give yourself every chance.
Yeah, here, all about the pot. The position on the 8 ball is pretty much guaranteed. But he has missed it.
And funnily enough, he punched it. You know, I was just talking about how smooth he hits and hitting it slower through the ball. He actually popped it and he hit into the rail very early there. So an unexpected chance for USA to capitalise on that big mistake there by Albin.
Yes, it was a weak positional shot onto the 7, but we didn't expect the ball to go astray.
Again, you know, they got away with it, didn't they? That should have been bobbling and staying over the hole.
No, but I mean,
And didn't give Chris a good shot, but he played a very good shot in response. Calm, speed control good, and there we see Albin sitting in his chair thinking, how did I miss that? there was no point in Fedor trying to bank that ball because he couldn't have got position on the 8 ball, so he's opted for a good safety. But now, Billy's come out. He can either bank this, cut it, or 3 rails behind the 8 ball. But I think he's just got to go for it at this point because I think they're all tough shots and go for the bank.
You don't want to leave this fellow a bank, I can tell you.
He might be cutting this. No, beautiful shot. What a shot. Considering the way he's been playing, you know, struggling a little bit with his timing and speed control. That was a tremendous shot. So now we've got to see what Chris can produce with that nice cue action. Not quite as he wanted, but he's still giving Billy a shot.
Now this time, will the cue action hold up?
Nice shot. He needed that. He really needed that. Good shot.
He needed it. They needed it. The USA not quitting.
Come on, way too.
Fighting
Nah,
hard.
dude, you're good. I mean,
It's like I'd rather leave you above it than below it for sure.
That was a
We
big
should've won
sigh of
5-0,
relief,
though.
wasn't it?
but it's cool.
It's all
I
right.
missed a 6. I mean, I had to shoot the bank, bro. I had to make 1 bank in Mosconi Cup. I was due to make a bank in Mosconi.
I gave you the
Cup.
option, like I would have said bank it personally.
I love listening to them talk about.
Oh, baby.
Cutting edge, by God.
Nice. Nicely played.
It's like that was your pocket, you needed 1.
That's it, I had to make a bank in the Mosconi
I mean,
Cup.
dude, sometimes you just got to go for the cheese.
Yeah, we got to grind.
Oh, for sure. Play the right shots, percentages. Gotta
It's
play our
nice.
percentages.
It's
Go,
nice
boy.
to see them light-hearted at the moment.
My little egghead up there.
Yes, I think if they were to win, say, 3 or 4 matches on the trot, I think that might change and the outlook of the Americans would become a
think
lot
it's got-
more serious. Right now, they've got nothing to lose. They think they're going to lose, and they're just
Rack
loosey-goosey.
number 6. Current
He's looking
score is
very cool,
4-1.
isn't he, old
Team USA, Team
Skylar
Europe
there?
to break.
USA glasses and his mullet. And that was a perfect break for Europe. Fedor Gorst. A perfect shot on the 1 to get to the 2. This should be an easy run out for this pair of champions.
It should, but we had that impression in the previous rack, and the 7 ball from Ouschan didn't drop.
Let's talk about Albin and his sister, family of 2 world champions, Jasmine Ouschan and Albin. Jasmine's a 10-ball world champion, and now Albin's a 9-ball world champion. So it's a pretty impressive family, I'd say.
Well, they actually represented Austria in the World Cup together, brother and sister.
That's fantastic. Got to get my brother playing. It's too late in the game, though, I think now. Dave, if you're watching, get your cue out.
I think one of the most interesting Q Sports pairings was Anita and Kurt Maflin, who represented Norway in Snooker's World Cup, husband and wife.
Yes, I remember Anita, and I watched. Kurt's doing really well lately, isn't he? He did well in the World Championships, I believe.
Fine player.
Yeah.
Now then, can they just pull one back and give themselves a glimmer of hope? That's the kind of clinical rack you expect from young Fedor Gorst and Albin Ouschan.
Warmed up.
Nevertheless, the USA still on the hill at 4-2, and of course, it's now their break.
Incredible.
I think Fedor's a little cold. They've got the tops on underneath their tops. Kachi's looking very relaxed today.
Well, he can afford to be, of course. He's not involved at all.
I know, he's got to be relaxed today, isn't he? It's nice to not have to get your cue out.
Ouschan and Gorst don't want to have the winning feeling overall when they've just lost. They would love to pull this out of the fire and complete the overall victory with a stirring fight back.
Yeah, you've got to always you've got to dream of potting that final ball, haven't you, to hoist that Mosconi Cup.
Well, of course, if USA do win this doubles, Jason Shaw could be in the position he was in 2016 when he potted the winning 9-ball in Alexandra Palace.
Let's see if Chris can produce another good break. Well, even though the break was dry, he hasn't really left anything. They can't get to the 1-ball. So there's no advantage to Europe on this shot. He just cut the ball a little, slightly too much on that break.
Yeah, of course you have to, yeah, I think you have to push.
He's looking at the screen for a replay. He wants a replay, really, so he can see what he did.
Push out.
Push out.
Yeah, they can't get in behind the 4 enough to kick off one rail to play a good shot on the 1, so he's opted to just make the 9-ball and leave the cue ball there. So they have a choice coming back in. They can either take it or give it back, the US team.
And of course, when the 9-ball is potted as part of a push out, it comes back on the table and it's put on the spot. That's the work carried out by John Lehman, the referee.
This is tricky. Yeah, he needed to cut that slightly more. I wanted to use a 6 as a blocker, and obviously the other ball's down the end of the table. I'm not sure if I would have, or other people would have given that back. Just caught it a little bit too thin.
You saw there on the close-up the gap between 1 and 2, so that meant the 1 flew into the pocket, and now Europe about to prosper, it seems.
You know, a lot of players aren't comfortable using the rest or the bridge, as we say in America, rest as we say in England. Because we're only playing on, well, not only, but we're playing on a 9-foot table. I grew up in snooker practicing with that about 30 minutes every day. And people are uncomfortable because they don't practice with it. It's an important part of the game, even if it's rarely used.
Well, of course, there was a former Mosconi Cup MVP who came from the world of snooker and was a fine player. Malta's Tony Drago. He won the MVP in 2007, and he simply hated the rest. If you're watching, Tony, hope you're well. What a great character, what a great player.
Oh, I love Tony. He is. He's still around, and he's still messaging, and he's still on social media. And I remember Tony when he was a 19-year-old. I think we were in the Isle of Wight at a holiday camp, pencil thin, and the fastest player in the game. Tremendous talent.
Well, there's a 30-second shot clock in operation here, of course, and that would have been a total irrelevance to him. I've seen him run racks in a minute, literally in a minute.
Yes, absolutely. Great talent, great person, and I'm sure we'll see him again one of these days. The pride of Malta. Meanwhile, back at the Mosconi, what America didn't want to happen was for Europe to get back to the table with their advantage on the break
Push it on the 9,
and their opportunity to have closed the match out. And Europe will be next up to break.
Yes, and of course, if they can get it hill, we all know anything can happen.
We know what we want, don't we, Phil?
Go on.
Well, we want to see the playoff, don't we, between Shane and Jason again.
I must be honest, yes. This match, though, is still very much alive. Thorpe and Robinson, their advantage has been trimmed to just a single rack at 4-3.
Where's Michaela?
9 ball's supposed to be froze, right? That's just
It's okay. Rules aren't for everybody, so.
Guess I should have gave it back, boys. That's my fault. I felt confident, though.
I thought you were going to leave behind the 4.
I was trying to leave him on the 6. I was trying to get my cube on the
I
side
felt
rail.
like it'd have to be you'd hit it too hard to get behind the 6, you know what I mean?
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, but even if the ball didn't have to land right there, I was trying to just get him on the rail. And if it
he
goes
froze
into
him on the
ball,
rail, he would have had, it would have been a way to the shot.
Yeah.
Anywhere else is, yeah.
Now they're discussing
Yeah,
Billy's
2 more
choice of
barrels
shot
a game,
there.
so let's get it.
What?
Well, there are 2 things in pool that cause more debate than anything else. The break-off and the push-out.
Oh, well,
what do you
totally.
do? One man's meat is another's
I thought
poison.
you were going to put the
Well, this is
one
true, and you've got to do what you're feeling at the time. There were a lot of
and then
options.
play him right behind the 4.
So I could see that.
Yeah.
You see
You know
what
what I
Chris
mean?
is saying there, playing behind the 4.
I
I
know,
think
it's
that was a
such a-
good
such
split
a
of the
shot.
balls.
It was, definitely.
But either way, it was a tricky
Me
shot
and my sister.
that possibly
Oh,
you
this-
should give back. See in the background there, we just saw Billy saying that was his mum, Amanda, and his sister. So they're giving him a little bit of a feeling of the fans being here. And there's Jason
If she's laying on my mom
with
and you
his
go up to my mom and like
one of
like
his
aggressively-
children on his back.
Okay, it's the Ouschan break-off. Are we going to a decider?
Not if he can help it. Well, it was a nice break, but not a great shot on the 2 ball there. Made the 1 in the side. It's just a bit of a phenomenon, the break, isn't it, really? You just never know what's going to happen. I mean, you can predict some of it, but it's always that last little ball that creates a little bit of a blocker sometimes. They're having a little discussion of the best shot to play here.
That's Good option.
A little tricky one here.
Yeah. Get it here.
Do you think he tries to get the ball in the
Extension.
two in the middle of the table and send the cue ball up behind the 8 and give a good spread of the balls, if nothing else? I don't see him going for the bank here because it's too dangerous. You've got to see what he's comfortable with here, what he sees. Well, you see, did he play? I don't think he played the bank there because they were looking at going past the pocket. They were pointing past the pocket. So I think he was playing a good safety there, using the 6 and the 7 as blockers, but the ball went in. There you go. He sort of shook his head a little bit there. Unfortunately, Albin can get through. Yeah, it was a really tough shot because he was elevated and he didn't miss it by much. But this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity for the USA to win that point and get a rematch between Jason and Shane.
And of course, if they can win this match, it would mean that Jeremy Jones's quintet avoids the joint heaviest defeat by an American team in Mosconi Cup history. And that means a lot.
Nice shot. Smooth. Now Billy's just literally got to stop the ball here or bring it back a little bit, but it shouldn't pose a problem either way for Chris.
Alright, what do we get here? Roll a little bit.
Let's say if you can.
Back over here.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's good. Good for it.
I don't think Billy minds as long as he gets another shot. So he's either going to play it round the back of the 9 or he's going to play it forward with a high left. So he could go centre right or high left. And that's a personal preference. Oh yeah, it's definitely a high ball here. Couldn't quite see the angle, but the 9's too close to the rail. Nicely played.
Baby free.
It's not been a flawless performance, but it's been a fighting one.
A stun down for the 9 ball. Nice speed, Chris.
They refuse to wave the white flag just yet.
And there it is.
The tide is stemmed.